Welcome to your Medicare Medicaid Assistance Program September 2018 update training for Region 1B. We will be going over the Part D Savings Program and the client contact form changes to your SHIP tools. In 2017, MAP team members participated in a pilot project to collect enrollment data for beneficiaries that were either newly enrolling or changing enrollments in a Part D or a Medicare Advantage Part D plan. Team members reported the before and after costs whenever they assisted with an enrollment. The before and after costs came directly from the Medicare's Plan Finder on Medicare.gov. Based off the results of the pilot, MAP's program funder, the ACL, has decided to implement this process permanently. When reporting a Part D savings in SHIP tools on your client contact form, this is done whenever you assist with an enrollment in a PDP or an MAPDP plan. Team members will select box 6 or 32 for plan enrollment. When selecting either box 6 or 32, you will prompt the PDP, MAPD before and after boxes to appear. As a reminder, disenrollment has been removed from boxes 6 and 32. They will only say enrollment now. Please select either one, box 6 or 32, as appropriate based off of the type of enrollment that you assist with. Step 1 in reporting the enrollment on SHIP tools is to enter the Medicare Drug List ID number into Section 9 on your client contact form in SHIP tools. Following the drug list ID number will be the drug list zip code and the drug list password date. If the beneficiary that you are counseling does not take medication and no drugs were entered on the Plan Finder webpage, please enter N\A into the drug list ID number box on your client contact form. You would also need to select the no password date box that is directly to the right of the password date box on your client contact form in SHIP tools. Team members will enter data from the Medicare Plan Finder from under the section that says estimate of what you will pay for your drug plan premium and drug cost into Section 6 of SHIP Tools Client Contact Form. The letter C in our diagram is the cost for the current plan that the beneficiary is receiving. That would be listed under the PDP MA before, and letter D is the cost of the new plan the beneficiary is looking to enroll in, listed under the PDP MA after box for your Part D savings. If the reason for enrollment is new to Medicare, regardless of previous coverage, team member will need to use a comparison for original Medicare and the new PDP or MAPD plan. Those costs will then be saved as original Medicare as the before and the new plan as the after, all of which can be found under the estimate of what you will pay for your drug plan premium and drug costs when performing a comparison on Plan Finder. A copy of this page and the comparison must be saved as the ACL is requiring verification of savings. The preferred method will be to save the comparison to a flash drive, which will be provided to you by your site coordinator as a PDF document. Written instructions on how to do this will also be provided. Alternatively, you can print a copy of the comparison sheet, write the client's name and date, and give it to your site coordinator. The correct format for that should be first letter, period, last name, hyphen, month in number, hyphen, date in number. So for example, if we're counseling John Doe on October 15th, his report would show J period Doe hyphen 10 hyphen 15. If you need to mail the forms, we will provide you with envelopes and stamps to do so. The forms that would be mailed to your site coordinator accordingly. So why is complete data important? Well, the ACL needs to be able to validate our entries. Any discrepancies may lead to additional documentation requirements, and complete data is needed to satisfy the goals of this program. Now we are going to look at the changes to the client contact form on ShipTools. The client contact form has 10 sections: Ship Counselor, Client Information, Client Assistance, Client Demographics, How did the client learn about Ship, Topics discussed, Additional topic details, MIPA, Part D, and Notes. Some fields require a selection or an entry. Those marked with red on the left-hand side are mandatory and do require a selection or entry. Selection or entry in some sections will pre-populate information into others. Other selections will require additional fields to be selected or completed. Any incomplete forms can be saved until the first week of the following month. Team members can return before that time to complete those forms. Any incomplete forms will not count towards your hours and are not counted towards team goals, and they will not be loaded onto STARS, the National Data Collection Program. Changes to the client contact form began in September of 2018. The ACL is leaving SHIP NPR and moving to a new online data system, STARS. STARS stands for Ship Tracking and Reporting System. What does that mean for you? MAP team members will continue to use ShipTools for reporting client contacts and non-counseling activities. It is necessary to make some changes to the client contact form, but you will find that it looks and functions similarly to how it looked and functioned before. You may even find it a little easier to do your reporting. There have been some practical changes to some of the old reporting requirements. Some sections of the form have disappeared, while others have been updated. Let's look at the changes. Updates to Section 3, Client Assistance. What's been removed is the first versus continuing selection under Client Assistance, and we've simplified the status selection to in progress or completed. There's no longer 5 options. It is simply in progress or completed. Under Section 4, Client Demographics, not collected is no longer a selection for determining Medicare disabled on your client contact form. You must select either yes or no under the Medicare disabled section. Ethnicity and race are also now listed in alphabetical order. Under Section 5, How did the client learn about SHIP, there are now 5 other options added, including Congressional Office, Health Drug Plan, SHIP TA Center, Social Security Administration, and State Medicaid Agency. Section 10 is now listed as notes instead of comments. Same rules apply as before. Every contact entered should have notes saved with it, even if that note is brief. If there are no notes, there is no credit for that client contact. Please be objective and factual. Concise and accurate documentation is absolutely necessary. Documentation needs to be respectful of the people that are served by MAP. Remember not to include personal identifiers such as the Medicare or Social Security numbers. Section 6, Topics Discussed, has been simplified. Some topics have been removed, while other newer topics have been added. As a result, all of the topics have been renumbered. The Part D enrollment data collected will be captured in both Section 6 topics and Section 9 Part D. Your before and after savings numbers will be captured in your Section 6 topics, and your drug list ID, drug list zip code, and drug list password date will all be collected in Section 9 Part D. Under Section 6, Topics Discussed, the old enrollment disenrollment option has been changed to 2 distinct options. The change allows for tracking of enrollment assistance and disenrollment assistance separately. If a beneficiary is changing from one PDP or MA-PDP to another, disenrollment from the old plan will be automatic. However, you should still select both disenrollment and enrollment to get credit for your work. If a beneficiary is dropping or changing Medigap policies, they must contact the companies themselves. You would only select disenrollment if you helped them make that call. Remember, you can select both enrollment and disenrollment in one client contact on ShipTools. Under Section 6, Topics Discussed for your LIS or Extra Help, there are two new options now found. One of which is Box 11, Application Submission. This will be selected when assisting with the submission of an LIS application either on paper or electronically through Social Security's website. Likewise, Box 15, LINET / Best Available Evidence or BAE is now an option. You will select this when helping a low-income beneficiary that is transitioning to Medicare Part D, or helping with LIS and those who are newly dual eligible beneficiaries through the LINET process, or by contacting CMS LINET contractors. This does include submitting required documents for best available evidence to get benefits at the pharmacy counter or point of sale. Under Section 6, Topics Discussed, S&P, Healthcare Fraud, Error, and Abuse. All of the fraud and abuse selections formerly listed under each category have been consolidated into a single Topics Discussed category for easier selection. If you select one of the fraud and abuse topics, you will get a pop-up message reminding you to enter the information about your fraud and abuse discussion in the notes section. The more detailed your discussion is with the beneficiary, the more detailed your notes should be. Provide sufficient details to fully explain the fraud, error, or abuse contact. MAP Inc. is making S&P documentation a high priority this year. To the extent possible, all clients should be informed about fraud and abuse, and it should be documented in your client contact form on ShipTools. Under Section 6, Topics Discussed for Other Insurance, there are now other options that have been added to the Other Insurance selection, those being Box 53, Active Employer Health Benefits, Box 55, Indian Health Services, Box 60, Retiree Employer Health Benefits, Box 61, TRICARE for Life Health Benefits, and Box 63, Veteran Military Health Benefits. Please note that TRICARE and Veteran or VA benefits are two distinct and different options because they are two distinct and different plans. Under Section 9, Part D, we have simplified the Section 9 area. What's out is reasons for enrollment. All 13 reasons for the enrollments have been removed, and the Medicare cost data has been removed as well. The MCR before and MCR after is no longer a necessity when recording Part D savings. Under Section 9, Part D, What's In, team members are now only required to report the MAPD and PDP before and after costs. The reporting of this cost-saving information is now shifted to Section 6, Topics Discussed, under boxes 6 or 32, depending on the enrollment that you do. Reporting the drug list ID, zip code, and password are still necessary and can be recorded in Section 9 under Part D. Section 7 was formerly MIPA Selections. It is now titled Additional Topics Discussed. The topics are grouped into two categories, General and S&P Healthcare Fraud, Error, and Abuse. This is not a required selection. However, collecting this information does provide an extra layer of detail. The additional layer of detail is useful for analyzing targeted areas to determine where resources should be applied to educate beneficiaries and team members, to evaluate effectiveness of the program, and is helpful in improving coverage. And remember, as MAP Inc. is looking for S&P documentation, The more detail we provide, the better. It is also easier to provide continuity of care should another counselor need to assist the beneficiary. Section 8 MIPA. MIPA will automatically be reported based off of your Section 6 topics discussed selections made. You won't have to indicate if it was LIS MIPA, MSP MIPA, both, or not MIPA at all. ShiftTools will do that for you. After you complete the client contact form and successfully save it, you will then see Section 8 MIPA added to your form with the correct MIPA contact selected. Remember, you still need to send your MIPA documentation to your site coordinator once you have completed the applications. The reporting requirements for ShiftTools are that reporting your map activities into ShiftTools needs to be accurate, complete, and timely. Timely reporting with Map Central requires all reporting to be entered into ShiftTools by the 10th of the following month. So for example, any client contacts that need to be recorded for the month of September need to be entered in to ShiftTools by October 10th. Why do we report? Well, if we don't record who we serve, then it hasn't happened. It allows our funders to evaluate how we are doing as a program. It is important to document and report in ShiftTools what we do with each beneficiary to allow for continuity of care. As always, please remember when you are enrolling a beneficiary in a plan to poke the bird. Thank you for all that you do. Any questions?